All right, welcome back to another Kenshi how-to video. I've seen this come up multiple times on the Kenshi Reddit forum, so I figured I'd make a quick video about it because this is the sort of stuff I like to make videos about just to show people. These are things I kind of know about in game and just sort of intuitively because I've played the game for so long, but I try to think of these sorts of things to help people out because they're not necessarily obvious, or maybe they are to some people and not others, but whatever. This is hopefully helpful. So let's just talk about inventory management specifically. And I actually learned something new today from someone on the forum on Reddit that I did not know you could do. And I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe that. I didn't know that. So, anyways, first of all, if you need to move items around, there's multiple ways to do it. And I'm just going to grab this and look at this copper storage thing real quick and use Agnew as an example here. But I can, and there's a reason why I'll use Agnew because Agnew can't talk to people. So we'll cover that too in a second because I think that may not be completely obvious to people as well. But what I'll do is I'll open his inventory or her inventory, whatever you want to call Agnew. I still consider him a himmy. I know people say she's a girl because the little dialogue thing that happens. Anyways, spoilers. When you play the game, you'll find out. Anyways, Agnew, we're going to load up Agnew's inventory here. Agnew's now going to run over there to go put it back because we have ditch items enabled, which, by the way, let's cover that real quick because that is an inventory-esque thing you should know about. If you go into open the squad menu, go into AI, one of the first things here is ditch items. So if you have that enabled, if a character has a storage container that will hold that item and they don't have any other jobs in the way of like, I guess, think of it as priority. So if they don't have something else they need to go do based on their job list and they have something in their inventory and their storage for them to put it into, they'll go ditch those items and put them in inventory for you. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. And no, if you don't want them to do that, which there are times when I don't want them to do that, I'll give you a quick example. If I'm getting ready to leave my base or my base location and go out exploring, sometimes I'll turn that off because one of the things I'm going to put in people's inventory or someone's inventory is going to be a bunch of food. And if ditch items is enabled, they might go put the food in the food container. So you might want to turn ditch items off temporarily during that time, just so the character doesn't go back. Now, if you do something like that, character is set to follow another character, or you give them a move order to move out, that will override them going to ditch items. So they're going to go complete that order. And once they get far enough from the base and the storage container's not around anymore, they're not going to go try to run back to your base. But it has a fairly long range, so that you got to get a ways away before they try to run back and get stuff. Anyways, that's that. Let's just move on to talk about more about inventory. So we have some copper in Agnew's inventory, and I'm just going to send them over here outside the store, and we're going to go to this store over here with Beep. And Agnew, of course, is going to complete his move order and then go try to go back and ditch items. So I'm going to go back here and go over here with Beep and talk to the store. Now I own a building here in Mongrel, and I have some resources. I have storage containers and whatnot. So we've collected a bunch of copper, and I happen to have it here. So I can just go with Beep to the store and say, "Hey, let's do business." And then I'll pause once this open. Now you see, Beep doesn't have any copper in his inventory, but Agnew does, and Agnew's not too far off. He could be kind of a ways away, like several buildings away, maybe even, and you can still do this, but I can just open Agnew's inventory and go ahead and sell this copper. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. And by the way, some people were saying, "Oh yeah, you drag the stuff over." No, you don't need to drag anything over. You just right click it. Right click it and you can sell it to the inventory. That's the same thing. Right clicking anything in inventory will move it around. So just as an example there, I can open it up. If I right click it, it's going to move it from his backpack into this his normal inventory. So that's one thing. Let's think about this. So what else is important? So the character that is selling stuff to the shop owner doesn't necessarily have to be in the shop. They just have to be nearby. The other thing to keep in mind, I can also go here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm carrying around a Fogman. We're doing a little strength training while I was just goofing off in here. So now I'm opened up again the dialogue with the trader, and I'm going to go here to my copper inventories nearby in my building on the roofs. There's a reason I put it on the roof is so I could get to it easily like this. And I can start right clicking. Now you'll see it's actually selling the copper directly into the shopkeeper or the trader's inventory. You notice that's going up. That's really convenient. Sometimes it works that way. I cannot figure out for the life of me how to make that reliably work that way. Sometimes what'll happen is it'll transfer into your character's inventory, and then you'll just have to close this and sell it back over. But a lot of times it just sells it straight into the guy's inventory. So, anyways, that's another thing. Another thing to keep in mind is the same way we sold stuff out of Agnew's backpack while Beep was in the store, you could do that with an animal, any character. It doesn't matter. You can do it from your storage container. Like I said, sometimes the storage container is weird and it just transfers it to your character's inventory. And then you still have to. I can't figure out the mechanic of how to get that to work reliably, where it just goes straight to the trader's inventory. I've tried a bunch of different things and it just doesn't always work. But anyways, that's that. The other thing to keep in mind. Let's go here and grab some stuff in Beep's inventory. Now, this is the thing I learned today from someone else that I didn't even know. I may have known this at one point and I forgot or whatever, but whatever. I didn't know. I didn't know today, and I was like, wow. If you hold the shift key, if you have stacked items in a backpack, if you hold the shift key and right click it, it transfers it to the other person. So actually, I haven't even tried this yet. Let's see if that works when you're talking to a trader. Does it automatically sell this stuff straight to the trader in a stack? Let's find out. Boom, it does. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's really cool. For whatever reason, oh, he can't afford it. He can buy all of our stuff, but that's cool. So that's another inventory thing. So, anyways, you don't have to go and like actually tell the character to go, go here and say go to inventory. I think that's what a lot of people do by default. You can just transfer inventory around between characters really easily. So let's do another thing here. And I just want to show this as well. I wouldn't necessarily need to do this with copper, but maybe when you're out looting a ancient lab or something, you might get a bunch of stuff in inventory. You need to transfer inventory between characters, right? So another thing you can do is you can open a character's inventory up and click this little circle. That's going to leave this screen up. I can now click on Agnew and open his or her. It's a skeleton. It's a robot. It doesn't have a gender. But you can open up Agnew's inventory or any other character's inventory, and as long as they're close enough to each other, which they can be kind of a distance away, and you can transfer inventory between characters. Again, I can use that shift thing to transfer stacks really quick. Pretty cool. I mean, I use this all the time. I guess it just became very clear to me that it's not obvious to a lot of people, and people figure it out, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know I could do that." So, anyways, I thought I'd make a quick video about it. Um, the other thing to know about that is it does work for a fairly long distance, but the game seems to have some sort of mechanic into it where transferring inventory between characters is the distance is a lot shorter in two scenarios. One, when you're in combat or under threat from enemies, or if you're indoors in another uh, indoor facility like an ancient lab or something. For whatever reason, the distance you can transfer inventory between characters shrinks a lot, which is kind of cool from a game mechanic perspective. You can't just like, oh, that character that's down, that's 20 yards away. I can't just transfer a med kit between people because I didn't have one and I need to get it from there, or I need more bolts than my character is KO'd. I can transfer the stuff over from. It doesn't work when you're in combat unless you're really close to each other. You almost have to be like right next to each other's in character wise. But if you're not in combat and you're just out wandering around, it works from pretty far distance. Like I don't know if it 20 to 50 yards away they can be from each other and you can still transfer it. You don't have to be super close. But in combat or if you're inside of a facility that you don't own, it seems to be a lot farther. Anyways, Hopefully that's helpful. There's probably other things about inventory management. This is just a really basic thing, but it's one of those things and mechanics in game that maybe isn't super obvious. So hopefully this is helpful. All right. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy playing Kenshi or you've tried the game and quickly become frustrated with defeat like I did when I first tried playing, or even if you just enjoy watching video game playthroughs, please like and subscribe. I'll continue to post videos with tips, tricks, and information about the game as well as simply sharing my playthroughs. Please comment below about your Kenshi experience or suggestions about topics or encounters in game you'd like to see me cover in future videos. Thanks for watching.